We begin with the first step, planning and preparation. This step is about establishing the foundation and scope of our PFMEA. Planning involves defining the PFMEA identification and boundaries. The methodology provides a series of questions that we can use to define the scope of the FMEA. The questions cover aspects like, what is the customer buying from us? And are there new requirements? Basically, at this step, we identify what specific products and process steps present a potential risk for us, and if a PFMEA is even required by the customer or company. The scope is really about identifying the product and manufacturing process to analyze. I will use this product as an example, a screw with a hexagonal nut. This slide shows the assembly of these two components. We simply create a boundary to determine which products are in scope and which are not. In this example is simple. The hexagonal nut is in scope, the screw is not. There are, of course, interactions between the components, but it is important to clearly state that only the hexagonal nut will be analyzed. Even a simple product like the hexagonal nut encompasses a lot of things to analyze. For FMEA, we narrow it down to the dimensions that are created in a single operation. Look at this print for a minute. We could analyze the overall dimensions, the materials, the thread, the different surfaces. In this case, I will narrow it down to the threaded area. Next, using a process diagram, we identify the manufacturing process step where the specific area in scope of our product is created. For the hexagonal nut example, the process flow goes from the receiving of a steel rod to the finished product. This flow includes cutting a piece of steel, forming the heading, several operations happening in a machining station, a heat treatment, and finished product operation. Watch this short video of the machining station that shows operations 30, 40, 50, and 60. Try to identify the relevant process step. Remember that we have to select only one for our FMEA.
Machine model CK640LM, hex nut. U-drill 23 mm. Length 25 mm. RPM 2100. Feed 0.09 mm. 20 mm boring bar TNMG. Rough. RPM 2700. Feed 0.2 mm. "20 mm boring bar CCMT finis. RPM 2700. Feed 0.08 mm. 25 mm boring bar threading. RPM 2700. TPI 20. Cycle time 71 seconds.
You probably have already identified it, but to be sure, the process step we care about here is Operation 60, threading. This is where the thread is manufactured. In this methodology, we call it the focus element. In a typical FMEA form, Step 1 is documented in a section reminiscent of a header. Filling it in is straightforward, but remember that the crucial part of Step 1 is to accurately define the scope of the product and the manufacturing process. In our example, it is Operation 60, threading of hexagonal nut. The remaining fields help us further define details around this scope. While it appears simple, it requires careful attention. If this step is overlooked or not done properly, scope creep could mislead our FMEA.